Breath is the bridge which connects life to consciousness, which unites your body to your thoughts. You have taken over 20,000 breaths today, and almost every single one was a mistake that is quietly draining your vitality, clouding your mind, and locking you out of your true primal power. Imagine this. Hidden within each breath you take lies an ancient code, not just oxygen, but a key the masters of old once used to awaken, heal, and command their reality. What if the energy sleeping beneath your skin is just waiting for one conscious breath to awaken it? You're not here to learn another technique. You're here to remember. Are you ready to breathe and awaken your primal self?
Have you ever noticed how a newborn breathes? Deep, full, through the belly. There's no effort, no control, no restriction, just life, moving in and out, effortlessly. That's how you were born breathing too. But then, something changed. You didn't lose that breath by accident. It was conditioned out of you, slowly, silently, generation after generation. Not with violence, but with noise, with stress, with schedules. You were taught to suppress your instincts, to ignore your body, to push through fatigue, to achieve more and rest less. And so your breath followed. It became shallow, rushed, disconnected. You started breathing through your chest, through your mouth, fast, tight, unaware. This isn't just a small detail. This is the foundation of your entire physiology. And you've been taught to do it wrong, over and over, 25,000 times a day. That's the average number of breaths you take. That's 25,000 chances a day to heal or to harm. Because when you breathe in a way that mimics panic, your body believes you're in danger. Your heart rate increases, your cortisol spikes, your digestive system shuts down, your immune system weakens, your thoughts speed up, but your awareness narrows. You survive, but you stop living. And the worst part? You didn't choose this. You inherited it. From parents who were also stressed. From teachers who praised stillness over expression. From a system that rewards performance, not presence. You were taught that breathing is automatic, unimportant, that it's just air. But what if that was the first lie? Because when you lose your breath, you lose your center. You lose your rhythm. You disconnect from your body and from the energy that flows through it. That's not just poor health, that's control. Because a breathless population is an obedient one. A tired, reactive, anxious person doesn't resist, they comply. They consume, they forget. And that's what this part is about. The great forgetting. Not just of technique, but of power, of sovereignty, of connection to your own biology, your own life force. Because while modern science is just beginning to study the power of breath, ancient systems have known it all along. From prana in the Vedas to Qi in Taoism, breath was never just oxygen. It was the carrier of consciousness, the link between body and spirit, the key to presence, healing, even awakening. So the question now is not, are you breathing? It's, who's breathing you? Is it fear, habit, programming, or awareness? Because once you become aware of your breath, once you reclaim it, everything changes. You move from survival to sovereignty, from being acted upon to acting with intention, from unconscious repetition to conscious creation. This is where it begins, not with effort, not with a technique, but with the simple remembering that breath is yours and always has been. Beneath the tension, beneath the pace, beneath the pressure, your body remembers. And now, so do you.
What if breath was never meant to be just air? What if it was a language, a sacred rhythm, a current of life that the ancients once knew how to speak, but we've now forgotten. Because in every ancient culture, long before machines, medicine, or microscopes, breath was more than biology. It was energy. It was spirit. In the Vedas, this energy is called prana. It is not oxygen. It is not gas exchange. It is the subtle force that animates all living things. Prana is life in motion. It flows through the breath, but is not limited to it. It moves through energy channels in the body called nadis, feeding not just cells, but consciousness itself. When prana flows freely, you feel light, clear, expansive. When it stagnates, you feel stuck, tired, disconnected. In Taoist tradition, they call this energy Qi, the breath of the universe flowing through you. Qi is not metaphorical. It is the living pulse behind your thoughts, emotions, heartbeat. Taoist sages mapped out energy rivers called meridians, and they didn't just breathe to live. They breathed to circulate Qi, to align with nature, to preserve longevity, to become one with the Tao. To these ancient masters, breath was a bridge between the physical and the invisible, between what is seen and what is felt. When they breathed, they were in communion with the cosmos. And they didn't do this in temples. They did it in silence, in practice, in discipline. Every breath a ritual, every inhale a receiving, every exhale a letting go. To these ancient masters, breath was a bridge between the physical and the invisible, between what is seen and what is felt. When they breathed, they were in communion with the cosmos. And they didn't do this in temples. They did it in silence, in practice, in discipline. Every breath a ritual, every inhale a receiving, every exhale a letting go. Contrast that to now. Most people breathe unconsciously, erratically, disconnected. We don't speak the language of prana. We don't feel the presence of qi. We've replaced sacred breath with stressed breath, life force with air consumption, depth with speed. But the language isn't gone. It's only dormant. Your body still speaks it. Every time you sigh, every time you pause, every time you close your eyes and take a slow, full inhale, you reconnect. Even if you don't have the words, your system remembers the song. And here's the truth. Before you can reclaim your energy, you must relearn how to speak its language. Not through words, through breath. Slow, aware, alive. Because your breath doesn't just keep you alive, it teaches you how to live.
It's like lifting a veil. Is all of this just spiritual metaphor? Or is there a science, tangible, measurable, behind what the ancients claimed? Let's begin with a fact. Every cell in your body produces energy. That energy comes in the form of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Your mitochondria generate it, and they need one key ingredient to do so: oxygen. But here's what most people don't realize. How you breathe determines how efficiently your body produces that energy. It determines how your cells function,
how your brain operates, how your nervous system behaves. When you breathe shallowly through your mouth or chest, you limit oxygen intake. Your carbon dioxide balance is thrown off. Your blood pH becomes unstable. Your nervous system shifts into overdrive, fight or flight mode. Cortisol rises, digestion shuts down, inflammation increases. And this isn't theoretical. Studies have confirmed that chronic shallow breath directly correlates with anxiety, poor sleep, and immune dysfunction. Now, compare that to slow, nasal, diaphragmatic breathing. You activate the vagus nerve. You shift into parasympathetic mode, rest and restore. Your heart rate slows. Your blood pressure stabilizes. Your brain waves drop from high-frequency beta into alpha, even theta. These are the same wave states seen in deep meditation, creativity, and flow. Not only does your body begin to heal, your awareness begins to expand. This isn't just ancient wisdom anymore. This is neuroscience. Researchers at Stanford, UCLA, and the HeartMath Institute have all found direct links between breath patterns and emotional regulation, cognitive performance, and heart-brain coherence. When your breathing slows to around 6 breaths per minute, your heart rate variability increases. Your system becomes resilient, balanced, focused. And here's where it gets even more fascinating. That exact rhythm, 5 to 6 breaths per minute, is the same rhythm used in Gregorian chants, in Vedic mantras, in Sufi dhikr. It's not coincidence, it's resonance. The ancients weren't guessing. They were entraining their nervous systems to align with harmony, with coherence, with presence. In modern terms, we call it respiratory entrainment. In spiritual terms, they called it awakening. Even the language is converging. What they once called prana and qi, we now describe as bioelectricity, vibrational coherence, energy flow through the fascia, neuromuscular synchronization. It doesn't matter what words you choose, the experience is the same. The body remembers, the breath reveals. And this is the moment of realization. Science is not replacing ancient wisdom, it's confirming it. For too long, we were told these traditions were mystical, unprovable, even delusional. But the data is clear. The breath is the interface between consciousness and chemistry, between will and biology. You don't need to believe in anything mystical to feel it. Just slow your breath and watch your mind change. Watch your heart soften. Watch your body shift into a different state of being. The mystics weren't waiting for science.
Now, you understand the science. You've heard the wisdom. But breath is not something to think about. It's something to experience. This is where you stop learning and start remembering. We're going to begin with the first ritual, a simple breathing pattern, ancient in origin,
proven by neuroscience. And all you need is your body, your breath, and a moment of stillness. Sit down, somewhere quiet, somewhere you won't be disturbed. Back straight, shoulders relaxed, feet grounded. No need to be perfect, just be present. Now, gently place one hand on your chest and the other on your belly. Close your eyes and notice, without judgment, how you're breathing right now. Is it fast? Shallow? Tense? You're not here to fix it. You're here to feel it. Now, let's begin. Inhale slowly through the nose for a count of 5. Feel the air fill your belly, not your chest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, exhale gently through the nose for a count of 5. Let the breath fall out of you like a soft wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again. Inhale, 5 seconds, belly rises. Exhale, 5 seconds, belly falls. This is the ancient rhythm. 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. 6 breaths per minute. This is not just relaxing. It's restoring balance to your nervous system. It's training your heart and brain to communicate. It's bringing you back to yourself. You can place a timer or simply follow your body. 10 minutes, that's all. 10 minutes to remember what it feels like to breathe without fear. If your mind wanders, it's okay. Gently return to the rhythm. This is not performance, it's presence. You are not controlling the breath. You are listening to it. You are honoring it. This is the breath of coherence, of healing, of alignment. Practice this once a day for a week. Watch what shifts in your energy, your sleep, your thoughts, your sense of being. The more you return to this rhythm, the more your system will remember this is how it was always meant to be. You are not learning a new skill. You are coming home.
You've done it. You took a few minutes a day. You showed up. You breathed with intention. You practiced. And now, you feel something. It's not loud. It doesn't need to be. It's subtle, but unmistakable. You feel a little lighter, a little slower in the best way. Your thoughts don't chase each other like they used to. Your chest doesn't feel as tight. Your sleep is deeper. Your mornings are quieter. Your nervous system has started to trust again, not because life got easier, but because your breath stopped treating life like a threat. And that changes everything. You're not reacting as much. You pause, you observe, you respond. Your energy? It's steadier, not explosive, not fragile, just present.
This is what happens when the body is no longer fighting itself, when breath becomes rhythm, when rhythm becomes regulation, and regulation becomes clarity. You may not have noticed it right away, but your cells did. Your vagus nerve did. Your heart rate variability improved. Your brain began spending more time in alpha, less in frantic beta. The tension in your jaw, your gut, your shoulders lessened. Not because someone fixed you, but because you finally listened. 7 days. That's all it took to remember that your breath is not just survival, it's alignment. And now, a new door is open. You realize you've only scratched the surface, because this wasn't a technique. It was a reconnection, a return to the body, to the now, to yourself. So what happens after 7 days? You remember what peace feels like, not because the world changed, but because you did. You remembered that breath is the first rhythm of life, that awareness is the first step to sovereignty, and that healing doesn't begin with a pill, a doctor, or a retreat. It begins with your next inhale, and the one after that. If this is what 7 days can do, what happens in 30?
There's a moment that comes, not in the middle of a breath, but just after. That quiet space between inhale and exhale. That's where you meet the witness, the part of you that doesn't react, doesn't cling, doesn't fight. It simply sees. Not from the mind, not from the ego, but from awareness itself. When you slow your breath, you slow your perception. And when you slow perception, the world begins to soften. You no longer live from your thoughts. You begin to live from the space beneath them. This is the witness state, the still point behind all motion, the center behind the spinning, the sky behind the weather. It's not a trance, not a blank state. It's clarity, precision, presence. And breath is the gateway. As your body synchronizes into coherent rhythm, as your nervous system quiets, you realize you don't need to manage your life. You just need to observe it deeply, fully. Because most suffering comes not from the thing itself, but from your unconscious reaction to it. And when you witness the reaction, it dissolves. You become less fused with your emotions, less entangled with your thoughts. You stop being the storm and remember that you are the sky. This doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you start feeling fully, without drowning. It means being able to sit in stillness while everything else moves. And that's not passivity, that's power. Because when you stop reacting from fear, you begin acting from truth. When you stop resisting your pain, you begin transforming it. And when you stop identifying with the noise, you start remembering who you are beneath it. This state doesn't come from force. It comes from rhythm, from return, from breath. With every coherent inhale, you anchor deeper. With every smooth exhale, you loosen your grip. And in the space that opens, you remember, you are not the chaos. You are the witness, the stillness, the center of the storm. And when you begin to live from that stillness, you stop being controlled by life. You start shaping it. You didn't learn anything new today. You remembered. You remembered that breath is not just survival.
It is intelligence. It is rhythm. It is power. You remembered that healing doesn't begin with doing more. It begins with doing less, with pausing, with returning, because the breath was never lost. It was only hidden beneath your habits, your hurry, your forgetting. And now, it's back. Not as a technique, but as a truth your body has always known, and your spirit has been waiting to hear again. So breathe like it matters, because it does. And if this resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Like the breath, wisdom only flows when it's shared. Comment below. Tell us what you felt, what shifted, what woke up inside you. And if you're ready to go deeper, to activate not just calm, but fire, then in our next video, we'll guide you through the ancient Tibetan breath that monks used to melt snow with their bodies. The forbidden technique of Tumo, the breath of inner heat. You've reclaimed the rhythm. Now, awaken the flame. We'll see you there.